La 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 la. One banana, two banana, three banana, four. Do you live in La La Land?
Wait.
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. If this is your first time here, I am the vocal talent that is the Scruffy trader. And I kind of say that in inverted commas. But I am a trader, and I do it for a living. And I kind of show that pretty much every day by, well, kind of trading the moment for you. It's the only way I know how to show it. And I'm also one of the few that'll actually show you a statement. And that's kind of where I'm going with today. Because a lot of you guys kind of do live in La La Land. And the problem with La La Land is don't exist, you know. Oh God, talking of things that exist. Here she comes.
I brought you coffee.
Fantastic. Because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee.
Yeah, you go.
You live in La La Land.
Only on holiday.
Only on holiday. Oh, well, you got a couple of weeks to go.
Less?
Less. And less is more, actually. Am I going to get some more on holiday?
Depends how good you are.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, I'm fantastic if I'm getting some. Thank you for the coffee.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that, boys and girls. Real life here. And Winky always wants to be part of the show. But Winky is my show. And it's why I do what I do. Because you need certain goals in life. And for me, I want Joanne to be happy.
Looking very chirpy, Bowles. You've been sitting on the washing machine again.
I want my kids to be happy. And I don't want to worry. So how do you do that? Well, you work. And when you work, funny enough, you get paid.
Are you serious?
I know we live in a society now where everybody thinks everything should be free. Well, if you're along them lines, I've got a little bit of a wake-up call for you. Nothing in life is free. And if you think it is, get a grip, look in the mirror, and shake your head.
Bring on the dancing girls. Get rid of this idiot. Fuck you. Off.
Because there's something not right. Free does not pay the bills, boys and girls. And it's not always money what is free. It is time. And that's where trading kind of falls down. Because it's portrayed as very quick.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
You're not wanting to put the time in. Because you're not wanting to put the time in, but you want the big rewards, you fail. And why? Because you believe some bozo that you've seen. It takes a long time, boys and girls. And it's that simple. What is it they say? Good things come to those who wait. So where am I driving with this? Well, there was a few comments in one of the platforms I was looking at, and I brought it up in my own, the Scruffy squad. And I'll show you here. Well, if you haven't seen this before, it is all just fun and merriment, to be honest. The chat and music is. And why is that? Well, if you have fun and merriment, which obviously we do, we kind of enjoy ourselves quite well. It stops you over trading. Because over trading is your killer. And why? Because the market's better than you. And if you try and take it on and you're in the market for a long time, it will win. So your best bet as a day trader, and that's what I'm talking about here, guys, day trading as opposed to swing trading. Get in, get out, get paid. And it's that simple, and I'll show you something. Now, as we were sort of chatting, I had a rough week this week and in some of the other channels. And I picked up on a comment, and it was saying that they're a price action trader. They can see it, but they're frightened to pull the trigger. And then when they see the market moving, they chase it. And not only do they chase it, they keep getting cut out and then back in, cut out and then back in. And basically they just get themselves cut to ribbons because the stops are too tight. And it's just a murray mess. And why? Because they're chasing the market. So I pulled up this statement, and I'm discussing gamblers. And there is my statement. As you can see, from the 1st of May this year, started with 50 grand. We're now on the 11th of June, and it's made 20k. You know, and this is day trades. Haven't lost a trade, and I traded every single day on it. And I showed you that if you go through the videos. But the points that I was trying to make to these guys is stop looking to be rich. You know, step back and always know that the markets will always be there. You know, just because you've missed your setup now doesn't mean to say there isn't another one today. But even if there isn't, there'll be one tomorrow. So don't panic. And secondly, or lastly rather, stick to one system. Understand it. Put the time in to know what that system's all about. And then if you do that, the money will naturally follow it. Why? By building up your account. You know, because if you think you're going to do $1 million off 200 quid, no, you're not. And if you can't trade and you're listening to some other sort of clown who says, well, if you have like sort of lots of different accounts and then you clone them all together, it makes one big account. Well, that don't work either. Because if you screw one, you screw them all. You've got to sit back. And you'll often hear me say, less is more. And I do mean that, you know, and I have it here. Less is more. Why? Because I'm focused. If I'm looking at lots of things, I am not focused anymore. You know, and if you come down into my buyer's sheet, I make these every day and I go through them. In the products that I'm looking at, I very rarely have more than 2 in here. And if I do have more than 2, there'll only be 1 or 2 of them that are in trade or ready to trade. I'll quickly show you the difference. Should be there. Because as you go through the day, it'll actually tell me when it's time to trade. Now, the idea of trading is not just, right, 9 o'clock says it's ready to trade, off we go. No, what it's saying is in this next hour, look for the setup. And it could be at 9:55, it could be at 9:01. But sometime within that hour, there's a possibility to get in. And that's less is more. Calm yourself down. And then, as you've just seen, you get the results. Now, if you bear with me just a second, I'm going to put this into a little bit more perspective for you, to be honest. Just a tick.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay. There's one statement. There's another statement. And there's another statement. All of these are using the same principles of less is more. And because of that, I have now grown, well, as you've seen, started 13 grand, we build up. And I do this all the time. It's how I build small accounts. Now, when you're building a small account, it is difficult because you've got limited respect for the money that's in. Only 200 quid. Don't matter if I lose it, I can refund it. But what if you did that sort of 5 times? That means you funded 1,000 quid. Would it not have been a little bit easier to put £1,000 into an account and then traded it properly, because that £1,000 is tangible, you know. So the less you've, my teeth back in, the less is more principle falls back into line again, because you're not funding multiple accounts, you're funding one account. So you're focused on a single area, not chopping and chaining. And if you're focused, you might have a bit of respect for it. But then dial your position size down to the smallest point if you're unsure. And then again, less is more, because it's a small position size. It can put some skin in the game, which gives you the emotional content that you need, because it is an emotional roller coaster trading, and earn the right to have a bigger fund. Hope that makes sense. And if you are looking at funds, I mean, there's a couple of routes you can go. You can go down the route of your own broker, in this case Black Bull, which is a program that I recommend. Why? Because I use it. I use Black Bull, IG, 5%, that's it. All right. And I have money split across them all. Why do I do it that way? Well, I like Black Bull because it has MT5 and I'm all fair with it and it is excellent, but also the cost of trading with Black Bull is incredibly cheap. In other words, the spreads are very, very, very tight, and I can trade anything, and it gives me leverage for when I want to do leverage trading. So it's an excellent platform.
No way!
And then I take it a step further, where I still chart on one and I trade on something else, which is a prop firm, and that is the 5%ers, which is here. And then depending on how you want to trade, you just pick the program to suit. And one of the beauties with 5%ers now is they have my favorite product in it, the DAX, which is superb. It's only in the instant funding at the moment, this program here. But if you're good enough to trade and you go instant funding, you're getting profits from day one. It is a way to go. And at 235, think about it. You've got a big account, because it'll give, well, I'll show you. You're immediately given funding of 6,000. You've only got to generate 375 as a profit target, and then you're getting paid. You know, you don't have to go through evaluations or anything. You just got to hit your profit target, and that's it. And then you scale up, as you've just seen. And if you want to do, well, let's see, say the boot camp, for argument's sake, we'll pull this down on boot camp. The boot camp, again, is peanuts to get into. Go through your challenges, you get a massive fund. So it's another thing. And these use MT5 as well. And then finally, you've got freestyle, where you don't need stop losses or anything like that. You do what you want, when you want, how you want. As long as you keep your profits greater than your losses, you'll get funded. You know, but all the information's there. There is links down in the description if you want to try it, and you will get 5% off if you want to try it. If you are good enough, if I come back to the screen that I had on earlier on, you can generate that, because that is my funded 5%ers account. And I can't be any fairer than that, guys. But ultimately, what I'm kind of trying to get through today is, don't be frightened of the markets, but don't be a fool either. Don't go looking to live in la la land. If you want to succeed in trading, you need to step back and think, it ain't get rich quick. It's a job. And think about this from another point of view. When you rock up at work, and it doesn't matter what you do for a living, whether you're a janitor just sweeping the floor or the managing director of a multi-corporate, you've still got tasks to do that day. And we are only human. So if you rock up at your job at 9 o'clock and you were told to watch the telly, have quite a few cups of coffee, kind of mill about, and then do one task, maybe it's 3 or 4 hours into your shift, that'll last for 40 minutes.
It's a tiny piece of paper. Okay, that's all it is. Tiny piece of paper.
You know, so you're going to sweep the floor for 40 minutes after you've been there all morning watching the telly. And then you have another cup of coffee and a cream cake and you watch another program, and then you go home and you are paid. Would you do it? Because human nature would say, yeah, that's great. All I've got to do is be there, just mess about, do what I want, do a tiny bit of work and then be paid. And likewise, the higher up the scale you go, if you can do one task in your 8 hours and still get your big salary, would you do it? Most people say, yeah, they would. You know, why? Because they're looking for time freedom. And if you've got time to do whatever you want when you want, but you've only got to do the job for maybe an hour or so and be paid the same way, you would do it that way. Because what happens when you come to the end of your shift and your boss comes up to you and says, we're running short, I really need you to do some overtime tonight, even though you're knackered and you don't want to do it. And, well, kind of go back to people that I've come across. I know people who would never do overtime. But you would sit at the charts for 12 hours a day looking for, well, a trade. So you are doing overtime. And ultimately, you're not getting paid for it because the market will take it off you. Because that's the thing. It's the markets are cruel. And as quick as they give it, they take it. And we are just specks of sand on a beach. We don't even compute. So go back to less is more. You know, think of it as a job where you have one task, but you've got to wait a couple of hours before you can do that task. Do it once and then repeat it again the next day. It's boring and sometimes you sort of get frustrated with it, but ultimately it'll make you more. I hope that genuinely makes sense and sort of gets a little bit of a light bulb moment. But if you're looking to do 30, 40 trades a day, constantly trying to outperform the market, it's a tough game. It's a real tough game. And if you can do it consistently, and I mean consistently, not for a week, for years, you'll probably be one of the best traders on the planet. And because of that, probably a tall order. But if you set back, because every successful trader I know doesn't trade that much. Not really. You know, 2-3 times a day at best with good, decent setups. And then what they do is they manage that setup. They might look to be trading a lot, as in some of mine. I mean, sometimes people go, bloody hell, you trade a bloody lot. In fact, I'll show you something. Where are we at? There we go. That looks to be a colossal amount of trades. It's not. It's actually one trade, but it's broken up into carve points. See, when I'm looking to trade, I'm looking to go from one point to the next point, and I'm not bothered about the middle. And the oscillations are, I'll enter, let it run up, take most of the money off, let it come back, reload the same trade, and just constantly do this till it gets to the position I want it to get to, or it's give me enough money to pay me. That's the other side of it. Know when to stop. So that looks bad, but it's not. If you look at yesterday's video, Fridays are a pain. That trade is on it, and you'll see exactly what I was doing, but it was one trade. So there we go. A little bit of thoughts for a Saturday. Nothing more than for you to put your thinking cap on. I know I'll get a backlash from it, because I do every Saturday. I get a backlash saying, nah, it's rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Well, the difference between sort of the people that backlash and me is I put my head on the block every day and I show it every day in real time. They don't. So all I'll say is step back, look at the markets objectively. If you're stuck, look to put the time in. If you haven't got the time, look to join a community that can help you, because there are no free rides, guys.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
None whatsoever. And if you think it is free, you've already failed. I can't be any more blunter than that. So, cherish your thoughts. And as always, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.